Continental Tires. Evan Cooley on the pole alongside Elliott Cox. Neither of these drivers have won in USF2000. Max Taylor's a winner. Thomas Schrag's a former F1600 Championship Series title winner. Team USA scholarship. Schrag wants that first win as well. Everybody up front looking for that first victory here in USF2000. Field set. Let's see if the guys in the back doing a better job this time. No, they connect each other again. But the green flag flies and we are underway. Don't see any damage to the drivers further back, and low line down to the bottom. Elliott Cox going to follow him through. Big move to the outside for the number 3 of Max Taylor, but look at his teammate coming down the inside of Chris Dedulu down to the bottom as well. Taylor's going to go around the outside. I think he's going to be able to get Cox, he does. But Evan Cooley, the exclusive Autosport driver, the USF2000 driver making his debut here this weekend, goes to P1. That went according to plan, able to get through, but another good run for Max Taylor, showing that experience. Outside run, able to get to the inside of Elliott Cox coming through turn number 1.
Now the key for Elliott Cox is to start driving forward. He lost that position to Max Taylor, but you don't want to lose anymore. You want to drive aggressive down here into turn number 7 as he's under attack. Chris Dedulu right there. He actually got to the inside of Max Taylor. Nice run for him.
I don't know that he's going to be able to get the job done there. I don't think it was quite enough. They're still going to be side by side through 8, and they'll be side by side through 9 as well. This is perfect for Evan Cooley as he's trying to stretch away. Taylor able to hold him back. Cox smart there. I think he had to get aggressive there because it's either pass or B pass on the opening lap. If he checks up, that guy behind him is going to get super aggressive. Look how much they're slicing and dicing out of turn 11 over to turn 12. Couple of lockups further back in the field trying to get this opening lap in the books cleanly as they come now through turn number 13. A bit of a cutback corner back around here onto the front straightaway, in a solid lead right now for Evan Cooley, the young driver out of Illinois, leading the way in the ITI Intermodal exclusive Autosport machine. Up into second goes Max Taylor. Third is Elliott Cox. Fourth, Nico Christodoulou. Here's a challenge here a little bit further back. That's Taylor, rather that's Garcia trying to go to the inside of Schrag. I don't know that he'll have enough there. Schrag still on the outside. He's going to have the spot. Garcia yesterday started 6th, got spun around into the grass, went all the way back to the tail of the field, got himself back up to 6th. And when I talked to him, he said, I started 6th, I finished 6th. Kind of a net 0. So even when he has that pretty solid point lead over Papa Savas to fight his way back, as you had mentioned earlier, Michael, from the tail of the field to P6, that's a huge win for Garcia in race 1.
And you call it damage control. We talk about having a big points lead, and then you could potentially lose it. You have a couple of bad races. He had a potential bad race starting out, and then was able to save it. A great run for our points leader, Garcia.
And that's one of those ones you can go back. If he wins the championship, you can say, hey, listen, I salvaged things back there when I could have had a 19th place finish, but I came out with P6. If it comes down to a couple of points at Portland when we wrap things up in August, that you go back to those days when you save a result as opposed to when you're 5th or 6th.
Keep digging.
Yeah, that's exactly. I say it to those kids all the time. Just keep digging, keep learning. Cooley, your leader. Taylor in second. They're going to come around to put another lap. Look at the lead right now for Evan Cooley. And I'm going to throw this back to the Fall Combine, our open test we have each year in October here at Indianapolis with all 3 of our series. Cooley made his debut in USF Juniors, promptly went P1 in this first session ever here, cold session. Look at this fight further back. We got ourselves a potential 3-way battle. That is Brienza and Giafoni. Look at how about 4 wide coming down into turn number 1. Loving it from USF2000. They're 4 wide. Someone's got to give. And it's a driver on the outside. They had to give it up, and a big over-under further back, I think, from Quinn Armstrong. Oh, there's your contact there. Brienza, one of the drivers involved, I believe. That actually might be Sam Corey as well. They'll continue back on. You saw contact with those drivers coming through turn number 2. Everybody else continuing. Here's the replay. Look at the over-under for Quinn Armstrong. Beautiful job for Quinn. And there's contact right there. That was one of the Jay Howard cars getting together with the 23, and that indeed is the 91 of Joey Brienza. He is off track. There he is there. Damage, yeah, you can see the damage. He's trying to spin it, but there's, I think, suspension damage to the 91 of Joey Brienza. I think that was Tanner DeFabis who was involved in that as well. Tanner was trying to get to the inside. Tough one there. Sam Corey was there. He was trying to come back across to turn number 2. DeFabis was in. They had right front to left rear contact. We'll have another replay of it. Ava, have a look at this here. Big lockup for Giafoni. He pushes through. Quinn Armstrong, beautiful over-under. Yeah, DeFabis is on the inside. Oh, that actually might have been Costello, not DeFabis. That was the 8, not the 9. So hard to see those numbers.
And I think Costello actually got it in the curbing. That kicked him back to the right. That's where the contact ensued.
Ava, you've been in battles like that where you're side by side. It's tough sometimes, isn't it, to kind of give way? You think you've got the spot, but you don't want to give it up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't ever want to give up your spot to somebody, but sometimes you just have to, because at the end of the day, you want to keep your car in one piece, and sometimes it's just not worth it. I mean, going 4 wide into a tight corner is sketchy sometimes, and it's not always reliable, and you don't know the outcome because everyone wants that front position, and so they're all fighting for it, and it's just unpredictable.
Listen, you've been in racing before, obviously a lot of karting before you came into car racing. That's something you're learning, right? You're learning speed, you're learning the stuff outside the car, but it's the mental game as well, right? Making those split decisions, having that patience and say, hey, I want this spot, but I don't want to give it up. How hard is that to kind of want to give it up? Because especially if you've worked your way up into the top 10.
It is pretty hard because, you just want to keep moving up, but I think of it as a standpoint, if you think you're going to crash, you need to back off. You can always pass them again. If whatever, I mean, you're right there with them.
I have a question about the incident at Barber Motorsports Park. Just your reaction, because you're coming up over on a hill around a blind corner, basically, and all of a sudden there's something right in front of you. What goes through your mind as you're doing, what, 150 miles an hour?
Probably 120 at that point.
120 at that point, and you come upon a car on a blind corner. Do you have any time to react? What do you do?
So since it was such a quick thing that just happened and I couldn't see in front of me, I mean, you sit pretty low in these cars when you're going uphill, and since it's all uphill, you just couldn't see anything, and my 2 teammates were in front of me. When they split at the last second, I saw him, and my instant reaction was to just turn away, but then I realized I was going to hit him, so I let off because I knew at that point I was going to hit him. I was like, there's no way I could have avoided it. I mean, it was in such a small split second.
Did it slow down? Did time slow down? Did you have any time to react, or it was just boom, it was there?
It was just boom.
You did pull your hands off the wheel. You told me that, didn't you?
Yeah, I went I just completely put him to my chest.
And jammed on the brake.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. It was a scary incident. If you didn't see it, look at it on YouTube and online. There's replays of it. Did a heck of a job. I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
We'll get her back on track. There's no doubt about it. We'll see her again at hopefully VIR. Let's restack things here right now, as we do have the yellow with the contact over in turn number 2. A number of drivers involved. Michael Costello was involved there. We know that Sam Corey went around as well. Joey Brienza still, that car's actually coming in on the hook. So a tough end for Joey Brienza after a good run in race number 1. Lucas Facuri, we believe, potentially involved. I think the big one there, shout out to Quinn Armstrong. He saw all the action happening. A beautiful over-under. He ends up coming out in P9 after the issues that he had. So fantastic run there again for Quinn Armstrong. He is up 7 spots, started 15th. He's up to 8th. Brady Golan, I talked about the fact that he was going to move forward. He started 20th. He's up 8th and 12th. G3 Argyros, who thankfully getting some laps because yesterday he had so much trouble. It just wouldn't run. It was misfiring. He started dead last. He's up 8 spots into 14th. But Nico Christodoulou and all of this action, this craziness, we didn't get a chance to see because we're watching this fight further back. That scrap back there for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Nico Christodoulou got by Elliott Cox. He's gone into 2nd spot. Max Taylor being pushed now down into 3rd. So VRD driver Nico Christodoulou, who won at NOLA Motorsports Park, also won last year at Toronto. He's got himself up into 2nd. Now, let's set the stage right now. Obviously, Evan Cooley hasn't had a chance. He managed to start, did a great job at his 2nd start here in USF2000. Now it's the restart at Indianapolis, Michael. And a restart at Indianapolis is unlike any one you see because it's such a long run down into turn 1.
The interesting thing was I thought he did a great job managing the start 2 wide. Difference here is we'll be single file, so he'll be able to, we'll be coming through, I think, this next time by.
Yeah, I think we're going to go green.
So getting ready to go green. He did a great job, and he checked out once he did. 8-second lead, probably 7-second lead he had by the time that caution came out. I mean, he was checking out. It's all gone now, but he did a fantastic job at the start.
I'll say this. Obviously, they coach these young drivers as much as they can. All the data they go over to make it quicker. I guarantee they're working on making sure he was ready for starts and restarts. Hey, what did Max Taylor do to be able to hold everybody off? I'm sure they watched the video last night. Max told us he went down to the bottom of the racetrack, and he just had to make sure he got it there and in and turned in before anybody else, and he held off all the challenge that he had. Green flag flying, and Cooley's onto the gas early.
Great start.
Oh, no. Yeah, green flag. Yeah, we got a green flag. Solid start, but Christodoulou with that big run as I talked about, he'll go to the outside. Cooley's going to try to move him up a little bit. They're side by side coming down now into turn number 1. And I talked about the fact that you can get a great run to the inside. Big, deep move for Cooley. Can he get it turned? He does.
Wow.
Talk about modulating the brake to get through. And look at this fight further back. That is Thomas Schrag getting shoveled off a bit to the outside. He gets back to the track. Schrag loses a spot, I think. Giafoni's now right behind him, but Cooley, side by side with Christodoulou, sends it into turn number 1 and somehow got it turned. How many times have we seen a driver go that deep to try to get through, but then run off at the exit? He was able to get a turn and leads up and now defends down into 7.
Great move down into turn number 7, and Cooley will be able to hold Christodoulou up, but Doulou gets a great run. Christodoulou will look to the inside as they work their way through turn number 10.
And he's got the spot. I think Christodoulou may have gotten by there. Indeed he has, because Cooley just went so deep on the inside of 7 and went around the corners. We have one driver into pit lane right now, Tanner DeFabus into pit lane, but indeed, you know, a really shallow entry. He's going to have to whoa it up. Got it turned, and a nice over-under there for Christodoulou. So move Nico Christodoulou back to P1. Another VRD driver to the front right now as they look to continue the domination here at Indianapolis. He leads it here, and we'll put lap number 7 in the books when they come back around.
Our points leader, Max Garcia, getting very racy back there in that 6th position, trying to get around Thomas Schrag. They make their way down that front straightaway.
Right now, the 24 of Garcia right on the gearbox of Elliot Cox. He'll look to the inside. Cox has got the spot. Cox now diving to the inside of Christodoulou. No, that's actually Taylor. He goes to the inside of Taylor. I keep making mistakes with the 3 and the 2. But yeah, there's a good look at the fight there. This is a tremendous battle. Cox, Garcia, Schrag, Taylor, Papasavas right in there as well.
Good move by Elliot Cox.
Really nice,
he really made a nice decision, had a great run coming out of 14, and then went down low, set up Max Taylor.
And give a little thumbs up to Max Garcia as well. He was right there. I think Max was getting ready to set up for the move, but a big move down to the inside. Being told we have a driver off potentially in turn number 4 in the gravel right now. Not quite sure who that is. We'll see whether or not they're able to continue or not. Christodoulou leads him across the line, but a half a second over Cooley.
I believe it's Thomas Schrag.
Potentially in the gravel in 4.
Yep.
Not sure if he's in the gravel and out. We'll find it. Try to give you an update there. Potentially an issue for Thomas Schrag. We'll find out about that. But otherwise, watching them come back through here. We're not seeing that shot yet. And our, oh, nope, full course yellow. And it sounds like Thomas Schrag is going to be in the gravel in turn number 4. This, I'm telling you this right now. Thomas Schrag has so much talent. He won the F1600 Championship Series. Jeremy Shaw picked him to be in Team USA and went over, ran Brands Hatch and Silverstone to the Walter Hayes Trophy. This kid has just the worst luck. It's unbelievable. He's got so much speed. Yesterday out and today out as well. Thomas Schrag has got the pace to win races in this series, but this kid just needs some luck. Out in turn number 4 for Schrag.
I'd love to see the replay. He was up in the top 5, so clearly, not clearly, potentially contact made there, because you don't go off there in turn number 4 unless you have something there, unless he put a tire off on the left side.
Well, remember, he got moved off the track a bit coming through turn number 3, I believe, right? Because 3 was on the inside, but he came back out fine. You wonder whether or not rolling into the corner, someone else got a better run out of the corner and potentially got inside of him there. We'll hopefully see if the production crew can find that replay for us. That would be amazing. Christodoulou, Cooley, Cox, Taylor, Garcia, top 5. Thomas Schrag again falling to the tail of the field in the number 92 off the racetrack. The AMR IndyCar safety team is going to have to go over and get him hooked up. And indeed, that retirement will move Nicholas Giafoni up into 6th, Ayrton Hauk into 7th, Quinn Armstrong 8th, Evagoras Papasavas in 9th, and Hudson Schwartz currently rounding out the top 10. Tough one for Thomas again, but again, Nico Christodoulou, he's going to have to now hold off on a restart.
And Cooley learned the last time by exactly what he can and cannot do. Saw Xavier Kokai make his way down pit lane. Looked like there was potential damage on the 19. Came to the attention of his crew as the field makes their way through this final complex of turns.
Another good stat here right now for USF2000. We talk about the level of competition in all three of our series, Juniors, 2000, and Pro 2000. All 19 full-time competitors that we've had so far have at least one top 10 finish on the season, which I think is really impressive. A couple of drivers as well, Cooley and Jack Jeffers, part-timers, have also been in the top 10. So indeed, there's just so much competition. One day you're the windshield, one day you're the bug, right? Sometimes you're outside the top 10, other times you fight your way forward. So we have drivers are kind of going to the top. The cream's rising a little bit. We see the drivers that are going to get the job done, but everybody's got so much talent in this field.
Well, let's see if Christodoulou can break away and make a gap between he and Evan Cooley. The field makes their way out of turn number 14. We go back to green flag racing.
Back at it again. Cooley not right there, but probably just enough to get that big run. He'll work his way out. That's a nice distance coming out. He gets the run. Cooley's going to tuck out. Cox still holding on to P3 there. Cooley, can he get the run around the outside? He's got the outside line, but not quite enough. A little bit of a brake lock up there on the inside for Christodoulou, but he'll hold him off. Cox right there as well, as is Max Taylor and Max Garcia. So there's your front drivers. Cooley looking to the inside at turn number 4. Checked it up a little bit there. That's a tough place to make a move. Back up through the chicane of 5 and 6. Top 5 drivers trying to check out a bit here on Nicholas Giaffoni, who now runs 6. Giaffoni needing a good finish after a couple of tough DNFs earlier. You can see Christodoulou running the bottom line. Cox thinking about the inside as well. Not quite there. I'll tell you, Cooley is aggressive to trying to find a way by. This kid, rookie here in USF2000, he's only did 5 races in junior so far as well, and he is really showing the talent he has, putting a ton of pressure on Nico Christodoulou.
Christodoulou with a great restart. I don't think Cooley had an opportunity to even get alongside him, but a great battle for that 3rd position. That's Elliot Cox going alongside Max Taylor. Looks like Taylor may have gotten around.
Yeah, I think Taylor to the inside, a good run, tighter line coming through 11 and 12 to get that spot away. But you can see the lead group of 7 cars. Then the back got back to 8th, 9th, 10th on back. Another great group of drivers further back. We'll pick them up for you when they come across the line. Here's your front running 7. Giaffoni now having to get aggressive. He's trying to hold off, I believe, Quinn Armstrong. No, that's Ayrton Hauk. What a fantastic run for Ayrton Hauk from DC Autosport. He's worked his way up into 6th. Hauk goes by 6th. There's a little bit of a lock up there, I think, for might have been for Cox down into the corner.
Got back around Taylor.
Wow, good job for him. Big, deep move. Look at that next group. I love it. That next group has got Hudson Schwartz leading the way, Brady Golan, Evagoras Papasavas, and a tough one for Quinn Armstrong. Just rolled by us here in pit lane. The driver made that great move, was up into the top 10. Quinn Armstrong, a retirement potentially here in the number 11. Tough weekend for Quinn Armstrong after a great start to the season.
3 wide into turn number 7. Taylor, Cox, look at Garcia try to dive down low.
There's over-unders left and right here. And I believe, I want to say Garcia. Yeah, I think Garcia's come out P3. He took full advantage of that. He goes to P3, Taylor into 4th. And I think Cox back to P5 right now.
Garcia picked up 2 spots down in turn number 7 and 8.
5 laps remaining, a 15-lapper, remember, here for the drivers in this USF2000, the final race, the doubleheader. And they're hanging it all out here right now. From here, they look forward to heading to Road America. Pardon me, that's the next road course race. Freedom 75 at IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park, on the Carbonite Classic. And then we're back on the road course at Road America on the 2nd week of June. Good fight here. This is the number 3 of Max Taylor trying to roll in on Max Garcia. Really kind of a part of the point battle right now, Garcia and Taylor. Taylor's big wins moved him up, of course, in the points. Evagoras Papasavas down to 13th. This would be his first non-top 5 finish for Evagoras Papasavas, who's had some trouble and moved back. He was in the middle of that fight there that sent some drivers off track.
Evan Cooley, I think, got around Christodoulou down to turn number 1. He did. That's the battle for the lead going down into turn number 7.
Evan Cooley back to the lead, the exclusive on sport, number 90, the rookie. So impressive here right now. We talked about Ayrton Hauk. We'll make sure we get some time to chat with him. Down to the inside, Evan Cooley battling it out with a 2-time USF2000 winner, Nico Christodoulou. Won last year on the streets of Toronto and also this year at NOLA Motorsports Park. And Cooley, now this is what I like about Evan Cooley. Number 1, he came in and qualified on the pole, ends up finishing 3rd, learned a bunch. He's been challenged, and he's responded. That's something I always love to see from a driver. Yeah, I've lost a spot. I'm just going to hold on to where I am. I'm going to say, you know what? I'll take 2nd. I'll take 3rd. Not Cooley. He's coming back at him.
He did a great job, Rob, down into turn number 1. He set Christodoulou up, got down underneath that rear wing, and they battled through turns 2 and 3. He came out with the lead and able to hold him off down into turn number 7. Now checking out with a 3-car length lead.
Listen, if Cooley can pull away here now, this would be big. Top 4 drivers locked and loaded. In fact, top 5 have got a pretty big gap right now over Ayrton Hauk, but a fantastic run for Ayrton Hauk. He started 13th, up to 10th by lap 4. He is now 6th right now, plus 7 on the day. What a good run here for Ayrton Hauk. Love it for the driver from Indianapolis. Again, that's the big thing. McCordsville, Indiana is what he calls home. Goes to Purdue University, taking in finance, and this is a kid who's trying to become a race car driver. We had him in the booth yesterday, and this is where he wants to get that run. What a great drive here for Ayrton Hauk right now in that number 58. Cooley's lead 0.4 of a second.
Evagoras Papasavas, I believe, has issues, Rob. I think he's pulled off the track.
He has fallen down the order to 17th, so Papasavas potentially with an issue in the J. Howard driver development machine. Second place in points coming in, so tough one for Evagoras. He's potentially pulled off to driver's left, coming up Holman Boulevard, off into the grass, the far side. I would believe they'd leave him there and will not go full course yellow. We have 12 laps down, 3 laps to go. When Cooley comes back around, it'll be 2 remaining for the young driver out of Illinois. Cooley trying to get a big victory here in his debut USF2000 weekend. Christodoulou and Garcia currently 2nd and 3rd. You see them further back there. Christodoulou just trying to get through 12 and 13 and 14. He goes, I need the run. I need to make sure I'm on power. I'm trying to get that draft. Cooley right up against the wall, coming down the straightaway, across the yard of bricks.
Nico Christodoulou, 2 laps to go. He's got to close in on that rear wing, see if he can outbrake Cooley down into turn number 1. He will. He'll try to go to the outside. The 2 nearly make contact through 2.
And side by side coming through turn number 2, a light lockup on the right front for Christodoulou. Will that play a factor? They're going to see the white flag this next time by. Cooley holding onto the spot. Let me give you the top 10. Cooley, Christodoulou, Garcia, Taylor, and Cox. Then we go back 1.3 seconds to Ayrton Hauk. 7th is Giafoni, 8th Schwartz, 9th Costello, and 10th. Best run so far for Maxwell Jamison. And here we come down into turn number 7 again. Cooley still running that racing line. He has not got defensive because once he does, he potentially brings Garcia and Taylor back into the fight as well. Cox a little bit further back, currently P5, although it would be a good run for Cox to go P5 here. He'd love to be on the podium, but P5 still strong after a really good opening weekend at St. Petersburg with a couple of 4th place finishes.
Nico Christodoulou has 2 more cracks at it as he sets up our leader, Evan Cooley, through turn number 13 and 14. He's got turn 1, he's got turn 7. Let's see if he can close that gap. Indeed he has. It's down to about a car length and a half.
Cooley looking good coming out of 14. As Michael said, the white flag will fly this time by. 1 more lap to go and 2 opportunities down the long straightaways here at IMS for Nico Christodoulou. Cooley has the spot. Big run. We talked about the draft with Ayrton Hauk yesterday. It's going to drag him in there. He'll again try to the outside. There's the move to the outside for Christodoulou. And indeed, Cooley trying not to give it up. It's going to be side-by-side lock-up for Cooley. Oh, contact, and he's over. Big flip for Nico Christodoulou. Contact between Evan Cooley and Nico Christodoulou coming through turn number 1. Left front tire, right rear tire, and that car went over. We have a full course yellow. That'll shut things down. It'll lock the field. So indeed, the incident in turn number 1, Christodoulou going over. And indeed, we talk about the safety of our cars. When he came to a stop, you can see that the halo had him lifted up. That's the beauty of the halo. Hardcore wreck in turn number 1 between Evan Cooley. You see Evan lock the brakes up a little bit there. That's contact we've seen before, side by side, and you're going to get into that. That's a tough one. Cooley didn't want to give it up, locked the rear. I'll tell you, Christodoulou did a great job going around the outside, and I think he would have come out with the lead at that point.
And both drivers locked up, and when you get to that point in that turn, there's really a lot of little control you have over those cars, and it was a potential that Cooley slid out a little bit when he made contact with Nico Christodoulou. AMR IndyCar safety team on the scene, but we will finish this race under caution.
Yeah, so this is going to be a victory for Max Garcia, who will come across the line from P3. Max Taylor is going to get 2nd. Elliot Cox in 3rd. Ayrton Hauk up into 4th. 5th will be Nicholas Giafoni. 6th, Hudson Schwartz. 7th, Michael Costello. 8th, Maxwell Jamison. 9th, Sam Corey. And 10th, for Carson Eder, and he is out of the race car, folks. That is fantastic. Again, the safety of this Tatis chassis, the new car with the halo, and he's able to climb out. That is fantastic news for Nico Christodoulou. Again, hard over coming through turn number 1 after contact with he and Evan Cooley, going for the race win, but great to see that he is okay. But listen, in the end, Max Garcia getting the victory from third. Here's the replay of what happens. Watch Cooley as he comes into the corner. He's going to lock up that right front, does not want to give it up. And as he gets in, you see, once you break it, we talked about this, Michael, you can't turn. He also actually loses the rear a little bit as he's correcting. It comes through.
The left front making contact with the right rear.
That's it. And again, look at that halo. We talk about the fact that we brought that in, back in 2022, and it does its job with Nico Christodoulou, making sure that he's in that Tatis cockpit and safe to be able to crawl out. So, man, that is fantastic to see. Amazing drive for both those drivers up front, Cooley and Christodoulou. I hate to see that kind of contact, that battle for the race win, but again, this is open wheel racing, man. That kind of thing happens. Okay.
Talk about Evan Cooley and what he had done, what he had learned throughout this entire race, and to have it come down to the last lap, into the first turn of the last lap. And Nico Christodoulou was just a great move and actually was rolling through the corner okay. And I think Evan Cooley, just in trying to hold that position, locked him up, lost control of the front end of that car, and the two made contact.
And you could see that the thing kind of started to rotate a little bit. Ava, let's come to you, because listen, if anybody's in this room right now that knows how strong that Tatis chassis is, it's you. The halo as well. We didn't talk about the fact that when you had that contact, the left front came up and hammered the halo. It probably would have hit you had we not had the halo. You know how good this chassis is.
Yeah, definitely. It saves lives for sure. I mean, it's crazy. I thought the whole thing was going to be, done. And I saw it after, and my dad said there was only, a little dent in the tub. I was, amazed. I was like, wow. I was like, okay. But yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Listen, that happens. Again, we talk about that. You got a young driver making a move to the inside, trying to hold on. That's a battle for the race win right there, right? There's the car there. We'll have another quick look at this. Again, just follow him through. You'll see the action happening. Cooley to the inside. Christodoulou's getting it done. He had made a great run, was coming around the corner. He sees where he is, a little bit of side-by-side action, and that's when Cooley just loses the rear end a little bit. And there's that side-by-side, as you said before, Michael, left front to right rear contact, and then the car jumps up and over. And here's a great, we'll take a look at this replay all day long, and that is Nico Christodoulou climbing out of that car after the incident. And again, this is the driver who's the benefactor of it all. Max Garcia going to get another win, your point leader. Pretty happy with him in the point leader, winning this race here. 11th different American winner here in USF 2000, 7th win for Pabst Racing. And as we kind of fell away from it because he was P5 at one point, Elliot Cox on the podium. The first career podium in USF 2000 for Elliot Cox, and as well for Sarah Fisher-Hartman Racing Development.
I think he did a great job throughout that race. He lost a couple of positions, tried to battle as best he could, but once he got into 5th, he settled there. He raced forward, and way luck has it, sometimes he was able to get on the podium.
And let's give a shout out to Elliot Cox. Last year, super aggressive, got into a couple of incidents. This year came in with a different mindset. I'm going to take care of my car. I'm going to try to be just maybe a little more cautious. I want to finish some races. 2 4th-place finishes at St. Petersburg, and he took care of the car there. He was a top 5 runner here in race number 2. Tremendous run again for Elliot Cox in 3rd. He'll be thrilled with that. There's the team coming down to congratulate Elliot. Max Taylor, a win yesterday, 2nd place today. Welcome to the championship battle here. Max Taylor, no doubt about that. But then again, Max Garcia, who's 5th. We saw him go from 5th to 3rd in turn number 7. That was the move for the win. We didn't know that at the time.
Now we have to get ready for the final race, and well, Christodoulou and, well, I think Evan Cooley's car okay, but Christodoulou.
No, that's it for these guys.
Yeah.
They're done. USF 2000 is done. That's right. USF Pro is going to be back this afternoon. But you're right. They got to think. Actually, they have a test at Mid-Ohio in a couple of days. Then they go to Road America for a test. Then they're back for a test at IRP. There's a lot of testing between now and the Freedom 75 at the Carb Night Classic. There's Billy Vincent coming in here as well. Billy, of course, as many people know from Arrow McLaren and Penske days, works with this Elliot Cox team and Sarah Fisher Racing Development. He also runs the MPG Motorsports karting program out at Whiteland Raceway Park. So always great to see Billy in our paddock working with the young kids now.
It's going to be an exciting podium of Elliot Cox, obviously going to do a little bit of celebrating, but a great run for Max Garcia, Max Taylor, both those drivers with. It was a great race. Let's face it, Evan Cooley. Awesome. We talked about how aggressive he would be, how well he did. You think about this race weekend, what he did yesterday, what he potentially had until that final incident today. All in all, I think a very positive weekend for Evan Cooley.
Yeah, and Evan's going to feel horrible with that contact, with what happened in the incident. He'll be gutted for sure, and same with Nico Christodoulou. There's your winner, though, Max Garcia. He's working his way up to victory lane. Folks, if you're watching here on the YouTube channel for the USF Pro Championships, don't go anywhere. A quick break, and we'll come back with victory lane celebrations.
Top 3 finishers in the final race of this USF 2000 race weekend. Here to call victory lane is Rob Howden.
Thank you so much, Michael. Again, up here in Titus Victory Lane for the drivers here in USF 2000, backing up their doubleheader here with a fantastic battle. A big incident at the end, as we saw, luckily and happily to see Nico Christodoulou climb out of the car. It ends up shaking up our podium for sure, and it brings an Indiana driver onto the podium, folks. How about a round of applause for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development, his first podium, Elliot Cox. Lots of celebration down here. Dan Anderson, our CEO of Anderson Promotions and the USF Pro Championships, coming in here, getting a chance to celebrate as well with Elliot Cox. Great job for Elliot. Had a strong run to the top 5, ends up P3. Finishing in second spot, big weekend in Indianapolis for the driver from New Jersey in VRD Racing. Max Taylor coming home second after a win yesterday. Definitely in the championship fight now. Dan Anderson will bring that trophy for Max as well. A great weekend overall for the VRD team. And again, some crazy action at the end of that one. A wild race. And shout out to USF 2000 drivers. Fantastic drive for sure. And again, sometimes you got to be lucky. Sometimes you got to be good. He was in the right place at the right time. It was a pass for third, actually, at one point. It ended up being the pass for the lead over in 7. The winner today, folks, from Pabst Racing, Max Garcia. Max, we talked about it behind there. That pass for third, an over-under, you're able to come out with P3. It ended up being for the race win. You'll take it for sure.
Yeah, I'll take it. But, first of all, glad that Nico's okay. And it was just a wild race in general. And it's great that my pass for third ended up getting me the win. So,
overall, what are your thoughts on the weekend? I know that you struggled a little bit yesterday. You were 6th, went back and came back to 6th. 6th in the first, a pretty good overall weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're still solid in the championship, but it's too early to think about that. We just need to keep our head down and keep winning.
Who do you want to thank?
All of Pabst, Bell Racing, OMP, Starling Design, and Advanced Auto Parts for making this happen.
Congratulations once again on top of the podium. He's won already before in the season. He's your point leader and a victor here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dan will bring that P1 trophy in for Max Garcia. That pass in turn number 7 for third ended up being for the victory after the incident in turn number 1. And as Max said, again, thrilled to see that Nico Christodoulou was able to climb out of that race car after a scary incident over in turn number 1. And again, shout out to the Tatis chassis and the quality of that chassis and the halo design. 3 different teams once again on the podium as we always talk about the equality that we have across our programs. Again, Pabst Racing with the win, VRD coming in second, and Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development, their first USF 2000 podium. The hometown boy, Elliot Cox, getting it done here, P3. Big party tonight, right, guys? I love it. Lots of friends and family, sponsors out here, the drive planning team. Excellent result for Elliot Cox. Another win, as we said, though, for Max Garcia. We'll bring in that sparkling cider for the drivers here in USF 2000. They wrap up their weekend, guys. Grip it and rip it. Grab that champagne. Have some celebrations, folks. And away we go. The celebration for USF 2000, Max Garcia, another victory to extend his point lead. Second place, the driver who won yesterday, Max Taylor, most definitely in the championship fight. And one more time, folks, Elliot Cox, hometown boy, P3 in USF 2000. Those of you tuning in live on the YouTube channel, remember, we're back at noon hour Eastern time here for USF Pro 2000. We'll cap off their triple header here from the world's greatest race course. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and everyone at Continental Tire, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.